Welcome to Isaac's Knives and Knowledge. We're doing a tabletop comparison here just to see the similarities and differences and look at the size and whatnot of these two Winkler knives, one of which is a collaboration manufactured by Case, who's known for traditional pocket knives like Stockman and Trapper patterns, but they have been known to make some fixed blades now and again too. And this was part of a series that they did a few years back in collaboration with Winkler Knives called the American Heroes series, which had, I believe, 5 different knives and 1 axe designed with help from Daniel Winkler by American Heroes. This model here is called the Skinner and was designed by Kevin Holland, who has a very unique and interesting story with his military career. So let's get this one out first and look at that. Kevin Holland was a Navy SEAL. I believe he joined the SEALs back in late 1980s and was in for, I don't know, probably less than a decade. And then he left the SEALs because there wasn't really much action for them for all the training that they were doing. And he became a game warden in his home state of North Carolina. But while he was on the SEAL teams, he was tasked with finding a breaching axe. And he saw the movie Last of the Mohicans in the early 90s and watched the end credits to see who made like the tomahawk and stuff in that movie. And he found Daniel Winkler, who was relatively local to him in the state of North Carolina. And the rest is kind of history. Kevin Holland has worked with Daniel Winkler a lot over the past 20-some years. Because after Kevin was a game warden, after 9/11 took place, he rejoined the military, but not the Navy SEALs. They didn't have room for him. He wound up in Delta Force. So he's, as far as I know, the only person to serve in the Army and Navy's top tier unit, because he was a SEAL Team 6 guy in the early 90s when he first found Daniel Winkler. And Delta Force is, of course, the Army's top tier unit. So he designed this knife, Daniel Winkler, and then it was manufactured by Case with materials supplied by Winkler. And this is made by a special group of Case craftsmen. See the Winkler logo there. Case on this side. It's a little over 5-inch blade. And this is sculpted camo G10 handles. It is the same 80 CRV2 that you would get when ordering a Winkler knife. So let's set that aside. Well, we'll talk about the sheath here quick. This is leather wrapped Kydex. So you can't like squish that down. It's hard, solid, nice sheath, different than standard Winkler ones, designed just for this knife. Now we'll take a look at the Winkler Field Knife. This has a sheath, typical from Winkler. This is their design that they use on, or something similar on all their knives. Leather wrapped Kydex. Now this field knife, it's a little bigger. Oh man, yeah, see, that is a firm fit. I can't get it out. I'm shaking my stand here. We got a dark green micarta handle here. Winkler knife stamp on the spine. Nothing on the ricasso area like the Case. We got that same type of filing. We didn't really make note of that on the Case knife, Well, let's check it out here, because this is a comparison. So same type of pattern there. 2 lines on top and bottom and 2 deeper grooves in the middle. Now this also has a story with a Navy SEAL. Prior to like 2011 or so, I think, Daniel Winkler really only hand forged knives and tools. And there was a Navy SEAL named Tom Ratzlaff who had a hand forged model that looked like this. And unfortunately, Tom was killed in an incident called Extortion 17, August 6, 2011. And this was kind of put into production, I guess, to honor Tom and his service and to have a great field knife in their catalog. Tom was one of many Navy SEALs who perished in the helicopter crash on that day. So here is these knives side by side. Let me move that up a little. Zoom in a bit. Take a look. Oops. Shaking around here. No, too close. All right. So the field knife, as I said earlier, it's a little bit longer. This is a 5 3/4 inch, and this is about 5 1/4 inch blade length. Good grips on both knives, different style blade, both flat grinds. Winkler does flat grinds on all their knives, as far as I know. The Skinner, it really has an old time look to it, like the trade knives of a couple hundred years ago that were common on the frontier. That's what the Skinner reminds me of. And Daniel Winkler did some historic reenactment of that time period. So a lot of his knives and tools are influenced by that. I don't know if he still does or not, or if he's just too busy keeping up with Winkler Knives business to have time for reenacting. But that's also how he got into making blades for the Last of the Mohicans movie in the early 90s, because he made stuff like that for reenactment purposes. And he was that was his full-time job at the time, to make knives and tomahawks, axes. And the movie was being produced near his home in North Carolina. So both of these handles are relatively thin. I would say you get a little bit more girth on the Winkler Field Knife, because these scales, these G10 scales, are quite thin. So as I get older and more arthritic, might have trouble with that thin grip. They're both 80 CRV2 steel, which is known for its toughness. It will rust. It is not corrosion resistant at all. That's why they put this black coating on it. They use a coating called Caswell, and it will wear like any coating, as you can see. I've used this more than the case, so that doesn't really have any wear on the coating, but it scratches, rubs off. Now you should keep these blades oiled or waxed and all that. The Wicked Wax product is very popular with Winkler. I think they even include a little bit of it with new knives that they sell today. So let's put it right on top here. You can see the difference in size, overall length. I think I got that. Not really balancing. Whoop. Almost knocked the sheaths in there. Let's see here. We'll get that lined up on the butt end there. So little wider, a little longer on the field knife, but this is the size knife that I would really carry on outdoor adventures, not every day or anything. 5 to 6 inch blade is just awesome to me. Perfect size for about anything. And these two knives are meant to be used for about anything as well, from camping, hunting, to tactical use as well. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.